My wife and I lived in LA for almost a decade, honestly. The idea was just as you get older and you have kids, you want to be closer to family. So here we are, back in Maryland, back in Severna Park. Growing up in Baltimore, I didn't make it out here much, so that's cool. It's new. Most difficult part of the move. So we got a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old. So just that, moving obviously is tough as is. We got cars, got to move up, all that stuff. But then you add on the 1-year-old, the 3-year-old. Again, moving somewhere where you have family was dope, right? Because you have help. Like the second you get here, you have help. A big reason my wife and I wanted to move was like, I want my kids to grow up around family. Content creation in here is easier, right? Obviously, I was fortunate enough to meet you and get to work with you. California, it was turning the corner as far as like lacrosse networks out there. So it's nice to be back in Maryland. I get to STX a couple times a week. Obviously, Hopkins is around the corner. Everything that I'm used to is here. It certainly makes that process a little easier. So often we talk about, especially when it comes to minority players, we talk about getting sticks in their hands and the growth, and all that is super important, certainly a priority. But I think equally as important is to show that like there's an elite group too, right? And able to show those kids that like they're people that look like them that are also elite. This summer was a bit of a beating. Well, we won our first championship last year, right? So that's an important thing to get out there. If you look at professional sports, it's really rare to have a 5-year run like we did in Ohio. My first 4 years went to semis, championship, and then finally won a championship. The same personnel, right? Like very few changes, very few coaching changes. This year was like the 5th year. We didn't play that well. We had some injuries. I got banged up. It just was a strange year in Ohio, but I wouldn't trade it, man. That's my group. For me, being the older guy on our team and the older guy in the locker room, and older guy in every locker room at this point, right? Like there's not too many guys playing professional outdoor lacrosse that are older than me. So it's just a matter of trying to teach young guys the right way to do it. As a pro, like I think there was a time probably like, I don't know, 15 years ago, professional lacrosse, that guys really did have another job, like a full-time job somewhere, and they were just showing up Friday night or Saturday morning and giving it a go. Whereas now I think it's transitioned, that you have a lot of guys coaching, running club teams, working for manufacturers, working within the lacrosse space. So they're training, they got their sticks in their hand a lot more. So guys are really closer to full-time professional now than they've ever been. My body needs a break. Like this again, I got hurt week 5 or 6, and then it all became about like just trying to get my hamstring back together, and then so the rest of my body I didn't really do a good job taking care of.
Not bad. How are you, brother? Thank you.
LeBron being a Laker, I'm a LeBron fan. I remember when I saw him play, it was my sophomore year in college when he had his first game on ESPN. I don't know, he's in high school, right? I didn't care where he was going. I was going to be a fan of whatever team it is. Obviously, it's LA, which is awesome. I used to love going to Laker games, living out there. Any team he's on, the players around him, no matter what they've done before, they're heightened, right? Like everything they do gets a little better. He makes guys better. That's what he does. I think LA is going to be awesome. I get out there, I was just there last week for 5 days, so I get out there every month in some capacity, some way, shape, or form, whether that's for Legends or an event, whatever it is. So I will comfortably be at multiple Laker games. Being back in Maryland, it's pretty special. For me, I was gone for so long, right? I went to lower school, middle school, college, and then year after college lived right there in Federal Hill. So I was on Charles Street for like 22 years. So I left, spent a lot of time all over the world, specifically living in California. I wasn't really connected to the Maryland lacrosse community anymore. That's how I came up, right? Playing at Friends, playing at Lutherville, playing all the tournaments around here. So for me, I'm excited to be back in the Maryland lacrosse community, reconnect with the Maryland lacrosse community. A lot of folks here shaped me into the player and person that I am. Specifically, I've talked about before, my Lutherville coaches back, when I was middle school, lower school, and high school. They were incredible, right? They taught you the right way to play, the right way to carry yourself, all that stuff. So I had the right guys coaching me from the beginning. So if my kids choose to play lacrosse, who knows if they will. But if they do, I'm excited to be able to connect them with the same community that kind of raised me and got me into the game and taught me the right way to do it. I don't think we'll ever move again. For me, and most professional lacrosse guys, you got to be an entrepreneur and you got to grind at it. Continue to create and find ways to grow the sport, grow your brand, and all that good stuff. So content creation is obviously at the top of that list when it comes to the off season, and trying to make sure if you are doing something cool, you've got somebody that can capture it. Again, get involved in as many cool projects as I can and see how far we can take this thing.